The alarm rings at 6 a.m. In a suburb outside Dallas, a project manager rolls out of bed and checks his phone. Overnight, his investment account has gained more money than he earned during yesterday's 8-hour shift. Not because he is lucky, not because he discovered a secret stock, and not because he quit his job to become a financial guru. Across the country, millions of Americans are waking up to a reality they rarely discuss openly. Some are running faster every year just to maintain their lifestyle. Others appear to be moving at the same speed, yet somehow they are quietly escaping. The difference isn't intelligence, it isn't education, it isn't even income. A household earning $70,000 can become financially free faster than a household earning $250,000. A school teacher can sometimes outperform a surgeon. The numbers prove it. Yet most people spend their entire lives focused on the wrong metric. They focus on how much money they make. The financially free focus on how much freedom each dollar can purchase. This is the central mystery. How do ordinary people achieve financial freedom in as little as 5 years when traditional retirement advice suggests it should take 40? Is financial freedom in 5 years a fantasy? Or is there an underlying financial mechanism that, when understood correctly, changes the timeline entirely? To answer that question, we need to investigate one of the most misunderstood concepts in personal finance. Not investing, not budgeting, not entrepreneurship, but the relationship between time, capital, and human labor. Because financial freedom is not a destination, it is a mathematical event. For most of modern American history, the financial blueprint is remarkably simple. Study hard, get a good job, work for 40 years, retire at 65. This model emerges during the industrial expansion of the 20th century. Large corporations need stable workers. Governments need stable taxpayers. Workers exchange time for money. Companies exchange money for productivity. Retirement arrives after decades of accumulated savings. But beneath the surface lies a hidden assumption. The assumption is that labor remains the primary engine of wealth creation. Then something changes. Capital begins moving faster than labor. Financial markets expand. Technology lowers barriers. What if wealth is not determined primarily by income? What if it is determined by ownership? Because every economy contains two groups, people who work for money and people whose assets work for money. Financial freedom occurs when asset-generated income exceeds living expenses, simply when their assets can reliably pay for their life. Imagine drawing a simple diagram on a whiteboard. On the left side, write income. On the right side, write expenses. Financially free individuals attack both sides simultaneously. They increase income, and they systematically reduce the amount of income required. Higher income does not automatically produce freedom. Higher savings rates do. This insight forms the foundation of the financial independence movement. Economists call this lifestyle inflation. A raise arrives, a larger apartment follows, a better car appears, the additional income disappears. Modern consumer economies are extraordinarily effective at encouraging spending. Credit cards, auto loans, social media status signals. Step 1, increase active income. Step 2, control lifestyle expansion. Step 3, convert surplus cash into productive assets. Imagine planting a tree. The first year it grows a branch. Eventually growth accelerates because the structure itself becomes larger. This is compounding. Ordinary people can purchase ownership stakes in thousands of companies with a few clicks. Each potentially contributes to future wealth. If the formula is relatively straightforward, why do so few achieve it? The answer lies in a flaw hidden in human behavior. The flaw is surprisingly simple. Human beings consistently underestimate the cost of small decisions repeated over long periods. A single streaming subscription feels harmless. A slightly larger car payment seems manageable. A daily coffee habit appears insignificant. Individually, these choices barely register. Collectively, they become financial gravity, and gravity does not need to be dramatic to be powerful. It only needs to be constant. Behavioral economists studying household finances repeatedly observe a pattern. Financial outcomes are rarely determined by one catastrophic mistake. More often, they are determined by thousands of ordinary decisions accumulating over years. This is the hidden flaw inside nearly every failed financial freedom plan. People understand arithmetic. What they struggle to understand is accumulation. The mechanism works both ways. Small expenses accumulate into significant costs. Small investments accumulate into significant wealth. The question becomes, which side of the equation receives your attention? This is where the 5-year timeline begins, separating itself from traditional retirement planning. Most retirement models assume moderate savings rates, perhaps 10%, maybe 15%, occasionally 20%. Financial freedom within 5 years requires something radically different. It requires an extreme savings rate, not necessarily extreme sacrifice, but extreme intentionality. Research demonstrates a powerful relationship between savings rates and years required to reach financial independence. At a 10% savings rate, financial freedom may require decades. At 20%, the timeline shortens. At 30%, shorter still. Above 50%, the curve begins bending dramatically. Past 60 and 70%, timelines compress in ways that appear almost impossible. The reason is straightforward. Every additional dollar saved performs two jobs simultaneously. First, it increases investment capital. Second, it reduces the lifestyle that future investments must support. The same action accelerates both sides of the equation. Imagine someone earning $120,000 after taxes. Instead of spending $100,000, they spend $50,000 and save $70,000. Immediately, two transformations occur. Their investments grow faster, and their required future passive income drops dramatically. But understanding the theory is different from implementing it. The real challenge begins when financial freedom collides with reality. Housing costs rise, unexpected medical bills appear, careers change, markets decline, economic recessions emerge, life introduces variables. Many people believe financial freedom depends primarily on investment returns. In reality, the first phase depends much more heavily on income growth. Consider two individuals. The first invests perfectly but saves very little. The second increases income aggressively while maintaining a high savings rate. Over a 5-year horizon, the second individual often achieves dramatically better results. The reason is mathematical. Investment returns are powerful, but large capital contributions are often more powerful during the early years. Financial freedom within 5 years is rarely an investment story. It is primarily an income and savings story. Investments amplify the process. Now we arrive at the catalyst. For individuals pursuing financial freedom, the catalyst often appears in the form of market volatility. And suddenly, the elegant mathematics of compounding meets human psychology. This moment matters because financial freedom is a behavioral exercise. The financially free understand this distinction. They maintain emergency reserves. They avoid excessive leverage. They diversify assets. Now imagine a whiteboard. Below financial freedom formula, draw 3 circles. Circle 1, income. Circle 2, savings rate. Circle 3, investment return. You cannot control market returns. You can influence income. You can influence spending. You can influence savings. The rise of ETFs allows investors to own diversified portfolios. Remote work expands geographic flexibility. AI increases productivity. Is financial freedom in 5 years realistic? For some, absolutely. For others, the timeline may require 10 years. The number matters less than the mechanism. Financial freedom is not a finish line. It is a transition, a moment when dependency on labor decreases and dependency on assets increases. Wealth is measured by how long you can maintain your life without needing additional income. That is the true definition of freedom. You stop asking how much money something might make. You start asking whether it moves you closer to freedom. The most valuable asset is your time.